Hello YouTube, it's Captain Nabs here with you again with another video flying the Majestic-8. For those of you that can't tell where we are here, maybe this will give you a little hint here as we turn. Not sure why there's 1900 parked at that gate, but we are parked here at Toronto City Airport today, and we're going to be conducting a flight from Toronto out to Ottawa. Fairly short flight, so it should be a fairly quick video. But I do have one wrinkle that I'd like to throw out there today, and that is that I would like to try and do this flight in real time, as in per the schedule. So Porter Flight 235, which is what we're scheduled to be today, normally leaves at 3:35. It's about 10 after 3, and we're getting in the airplane here. So we only have about 25 minutes to get ourselves completely set up for departure here, which is not a whole lot of time. It's a somewhat realistic amount. Usually 25 to 30 minutes in the airplane is all we usually get. We've already looked at the flight plan. So we're going to get in the airplane and we're going to make sure, we're just going to see if we can get it going on schedule and have an on-time or even early arrival into Ottawa today. So our scheduled departure time here is 3:35, our scheduled arrival time 4:33, 58 minutes later at the gate in Ottawa. So we're just going to wait for this airplane to boot up here. Waiting for the FMSs to boot. There we go, just so I can get the ground power on. And request the ground power, please. It might look a little weird. It might look like it's in the building here. I'm parked at gate 2 here. It's a little bit tight here. Alright, there's ground power. Did that work? Nope. I'm going to bring this screen up here on there. Oh, DC external power is on. Perfect, okay. So we got DC external power on. We got the recirc fans on, lights on. Alright. And we're just going to hit accept on that FMS so that it turns on, and everything's on and ready to go here. And we're going to do a quick little check here of the alternate gear lights. There we go, looking good. Alright, and that's about all we're going to do right now. We're going to simulate doing a walk around. The captain will go out and do the walk around. The first officer would program the flight plan in there. It's a fairly simple flight plan today to program in there, but we're going to try and get this all done. One thing, same as before, I am going to kill the announcements. I like them to a certain degree, but I think they're going to be a little bit distracting here in the video, so we're going to stop the announcement script. There we go. And yeah, we're going to take it from, let's do complete flow to get this airplane started. Batteries on, generators on, test tied, power's off. I assume the music will stop playing when it runs out and won't repeat. All the ice protection's off, lights are good. And fire protection panel looks good. We don't need any lights. It's daytime for now. We don't need the APU for now. The engine controls all look good. Cabin controls all look pretty good. Ottawa's, I forget what Ottawa is, 350, 650, something to that effect. We'll have to just double check it on the way there. Exterior lights. We got the emergency lights armed. Fasten seat belts. We're going to come back to that, circle back to that in a couple minutes. So we'll leave that off. We're going to test the advisory lights. Everything is lit up like a Christmas tree in this airplane when you hit the advisory lights. Right down to even on the arc dews here. The only one that doesn't seem to light up for some reason are the auto feather and the feather light. It's manual feather lights. There we go. We've got some audio, excellent. Alright, I tried to start this video once and I had an audio glitch, so I had to restart it here a second time. Seems to have the audio working fine this time, so there we go. And everything's in where it should be. Alright. Down here. Off. Good. Alright, taxi, everything's out. Just reset these for now. And what we'll do is we'll set up the departure here, so go around, and normally we do heading alt cell. Our file departure today is the Beaumet 6, and the Beaumet 6, I believe we're going to be, I've lost track of what runway we're going to use today. I think we're going to be using, let's see here, 100 at 30, so we're going to use in 08, so we'll bring that heading bug around, but we bring it around the left turn way because we're going to make a left turn onto that runway. So left turn 082. In a future video I'll explain why that is an important thing to remember. And off 08 it is 3,000 initially, so we do a 3,000 feet. The alt cell's already set. Perfect. Okay, just need to make sure the yaw damper is on. Bada boom, bada bing. I'm going to kill the control column for a minute just so I can see what I'm doing here. So the altimeter here in Toronto, 2976. So let's set that while we're here. Of course, you'd actually get the real ATIS. We are working online today on VATSIM, but we don't have an ATIS here at the island, so we're just going to go with what we've got. I don't believe we've got an ATIS at the island here. No. So set our flat protraction altitude here of 1260 under the MDA, so we'll have a visual guide as we go up, as we take off. We'll see the MDA go flying by. And while I'm here, we're going to need some speeds, and in order to do speeds, we're going to need to know our weight. So we're going to go to the control panel. Don't mind me dropping things on the ground here. Alright, we're going to go to our Majestic control panel here, weight and balance, and let's have a look at our flight plan today. Our flight plan today says we've got 54 people. So let's distribute those 54 people here. We'll do 15 up front. We'll do just 8 in the back, and maybe 12 there. What did I say? 54. So now we need to take this down to 19. 54 people. It's just a randomly generated number from my SimBrief flight plan, but there we go. The block fuel for today, we're looking at block 4900. That's with 500 pounds extra. So the fuel guy's going to round up to 5,000. We're planning to burn about 1650 on the way to Ottawa. So we hit calculate. We get a zero fuel weight of, let's see here, zero fuel weight of 51,734, and more importantly, our takeoff weight is going to be about 57,000. So I'm going to go to my 57,000 pound numbers. We're at the island, so pretty much almost all the takeoffs, unless they're close to 50,000 pounds. I don't know if I did that, but let's hit send data to flight sim. There. So that is in there. So now we can do our 57,000 pound numbers. We pretty much always do flap 15 at the island just because it's such a short runway, relatively speaking, less than 4,000 feet. It's enough for a Dash 8. It's not a problem for Dash 8, but you do need good performance. You can't be doing a flap 5 departure off a 4,000 foot strip. It is possible. It works under certain low weight conditions. And in cold weather it also helps, or with the headwind it also helps, but in general you're going to want the flap 15 here at Toronto City. Alright. Make sure we got no flags on anything. Everything looks good. No flags. 5,000 pounds of fuel is right where we should be. 2,500, 2,500. Electrical all looks good. Batteries are slowly charging off the external power there. And we're going to skip the FMS for now. We're just going to continue going. No flags. Everybody's looking good over here. Control panels, everything's out. Test the CDR, trim's okay, parking brake is on, control lock's on, flight disc, fuel off, flap 0. And we'll get the ARC2 set up in a minute when we're ready to call for our clearance here. Trims are all zeroed, and ATC, AHAR is all on normal. Alright. And we're looking good. Alright, so we'll go to the meat and potatoes of getting set up here, which is, of course, the FMS. So first we're just going to make sure our flight plan is in here. So we're going to start with CYTZ. It's going to be a fairly simple flight plan today. I'm just going to go straight to the destination because basically it's a SID and a star with the one common fix in between. So I can just simply go menu, depart. We're going to be planning to fly the Beaumet 6 departure off runway 08, Beaumet 6, runway 8 transition, so it's going to be a little bit messed up, Davsi T6 Talib Beaumet, and then I believe it should be Myvok as well. After Beaumet comes Myvok. That should be part of the SID, but it's not appearing in there correctly. That's okay, because we're just going to put that in there, accept, and then what we're going to do is menu, arrive into Ottawa. I don't even know what runway we're using yet, but I can put the star in. Put the capital 4 star via Myvok, and we don't need an approach yet. We can just put those in. We can put the approach in when we get a little closer. It's a quick flight, but I should be able to brief it up in time. Alright, so we've got the double Myvoks and the no link are deleted. the altitude restrictions in there. The no link after Lanark is acknowledged, and that's basically all we need there. Fuel, so ZFW again we'll grab from the control panel. Did I close the control panel? I didn't mean to close the control panel. Okay, that's alright. Fuel on board, we're just going to put it at exactly 5,000, and just give me one moment here while I find my control panel again. Just 1 second. Okay, here's my control panel again. Weight and balance. And let's calculate it again. 54 people, 5,000 pounds of fuel. It's all the same numbers are in there. ZFW 51,734. That sounded familiar. So 51,734 is going in there as my ZFW. And then we just need some fuel information for the alternate. We're using Montreal. Trudeau today is the alternate. So that's not much. That's not too far. 881 pounds to get there. The holding fuel, 1343 for 45 minutes. And then we don't want to put any extra in there, so we're just going to put 0. And there's our total reserves. Our min div to go to Montreal. We have to land in Ottawa with 2,200 pounds in the tanks, or we have to consider going off to Montreal. Just going to put in our time zone offset as well. So we got the local time. It's 3:20 right now. We're supposed to be leaving the gate in 15 minutes. So let's see if we can get this done on time here. We're going to do our best. I'll throw that up to DTO, so we're ready to go to the first fix. And we're just going to come to the second one, and we're going to quickly cross-fill the flight plan and the fuel so that both FMSs are synced together. And there we go. Just to make sure they both have the same information on there. I'm also going to set up the co-pilot side here. We're going to throw on the anti-skid up there. Anti-skid's now on. And throw the pilot's speeds there. 57,000 pound fry and climb 2448, because these ones don't sync between both sides, so we got to set them separately. Doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day, because I'm not going to be looking at this side at all. So I'm really not sure why I'm bothering to set this. Call it my attention to detail. My tendency to want to make everything completely realistic there. Alright, so we got the co-pilot side set there as well. And I think we're just about ready for the clearance, and then we can do a takeoff briefing. So let me call up Toronto Arrival here. Would probably be the ones dealing with our clearance here at Toronto City this evening on the VATSIM network. So 132.8 in my pilot, and here we go. Let's see if we can get this to work. Toronto Arrival, good evening. It's Porter 235 IFR to Ottawa. Make sure I have my pen ready.
235, Toronto Arrival's good evening. You're clear to Ottawa Airport via the Beaumet 6 departure, MEVOC transition, flight plan route. Depart off of runway 26, squawk 2216.
Oh, I guess the winds are favoring kind of 2216. Alright. Anywho. Okay, Porter 235, clear to Ottawa via the Beaumet 6 departure, MEVOC transition, and the flight plan route. Departures off runway 26, the squawk code 2216. Get the 2216 in there.
Porter 235, read back is correct. Push and start at your discretion. Call for taxi, and I can get you the MECAR information if you need.
Okay, we got the latest information in Toronto. Thank you very much, and we'll call you when ready for taxi, Porter 235. Alright, so it's actually off 26, so the most important thing is to change the SID around in the box. Make sure that everything is in there. So, menu, depart. So now we're going to do a different departure runway. Still the same SID, though, the Beaumet 6 departure off runway 26. Now we'll just make sure, Nabs CYTZ-CYOW Beaumet. And basically all I have to do is just delete this no link, because as part of the SID it's supposed to be then off to MEVOC. Alright, so that's in there. The other thing is we need to change the heading for departure. It's a right turn onto runway 26, so 262 for the runway there. And the altitude on this direction is only 2,000 initially. Until we get turned around and we get Toronto climbing us higher. So 2,000 is the initial altitude. I'm 90% sure without reading it, but of course we will actually read the chart before we leave. Yeah, okay. So it's all set up. So we're going to do a really quick departure briefing. How are we doing for time here? 23. We got 12 minutes before we're supposed to depart. So I think we're doing okay here. So, for a departure briefing, this will be a 57,000 pound flap 15 takeoff. Takeoff power will be, we'll just do normal takeoff power 90%. Speeds V1 114, VR 114, V2 114, V-Fry 124, and V-Climb 148. The level off altitude here at Toronto City is 1260 feet ASL. For any master warning, engine failure, direction control issue prior to V1, UR will call abort, will stop the aircraft on the runway and deal with the emergency. In the event of an engine failure after V1 is considered an in-flight emergency with no immediate actions prior to 1260 except for raising the gear. At 1260 we will level off, accelerate to V-Fry, retract the flaps, and continue at V-Climb to 2,000 feet. Once establishing the climb will actually emergency. In the event of an immediate return, we'll circle back to land on runway 26 here. If we're performance limited, length limited, we will divert to Toronto Pearson. The let's see here. The Beaumet 6 departure off of runway 26 requires minimum climb gradient 400 feet per nautical mile to 800 feet, no problem for Dash 8. Maintain 2,000 feet. We do have 2,000 feet set on the PFD. For the altitude, climb heading 262 to 800 feet, then a climbing left turn direct to MDOS. And let's just check that that's in the box. So it's 800 feet straight ahead and then direct to MDOS. Then continue heading 150 after MDOS and expect vectors to DAVC. So it's runway heading 800 feet, left turn to direct to MDOS, and then after MDOS it's a 150 heading. There's also a maximum speed of 210 knots at MDOS. Basically that's it. We've got no NOTAMs that are really affecting our departure. The airplane has no malfunctions or abnormalities, so I think we're good to go. Any questions? No? As always, the co-pilot is silent. It's a perfect co-pilot. Alright. Not true. Good co-pilot will challenge anything that they don't understand. So, anyways, I'm just joking. Alright, so we're going to do some checklists, make sure we're ready to go here. I think we're going to be ready to go a little bit ahead of schedule. Originating before start check. Alright, so the originating before start check. Let's look around, make sure this all gets done. External power APU, external power is on. Recirc fan is on. Emergency lights are armed. And anti-skid is on. External check, we'll say we did do the walk around. The fueling, the alt gear door and landing gear inhibit switch. Sorry, the gear pins are stowed. I'm skipping ahead here. Okay, external check is complete. The gear pins are stowed. Alt gear door and landing gear inhibit switch closed and norm. And the flight deck preparation is complete left, complete right. The originating before start check is complete. We'll do the before start check. So circuit breakers, check left. So check all the circuit breakers, nothing popped. Check left and checked right. The escape hatch is closed. Battery, master, main, aux, standby are all on. Seatbelts. So we did get fueled. The fueling is complete, so we can put the seatbelt sign on. So seatbelts are on. Flight taxi is taxi. Yaw damper is on. Fuel quantity. And I can see just on the ED there directly it's 2,500. 2,500 is easy. It's 5,000 pounds. Nice easy math. Alright, fuel quantity is 5,000 pounds. That checks against the flight plan. Emergency brake and pressure is on and checked. The trims, we've got 1, 2, 3 set. Power levers are disc, condition levers are fuel off, and the takeoff briefing is complete. The before start checklist is complete. And here we are. We've got still about 3 minutes to go. So we can look outside, see if they're done boarding, take a quick look around here because I'm using some new Toronto City scenery along with some traffic as well, and it looks pretty good. You might notice a few little things I've noticed as you go around, but overall it's not too bad. The scenery is looking pretty good. And unfortunately it's getting to be winter here, so you'll notice away from here that the trees are starting to look a little barren, but definitely captures the whole flavor of the Toronto City Airport. So it's not a perfect model, but it's not bad at all. Certainly good enough anyways for what we're going to do here. So we're just going to wait, and at about 5 minutes early we'll say we're ready. 2 more minutes. And I don't know what else to do for 2 more minutes. We might as well just get ready here. Alright, so let's see here. Services. So we do not have the gear pins installed. That's good. And just waiting 1 more minute. Purser comes in, gives us the final passenger count, 54 people. Okay, we are good to go. So we're going to go ahead and close the door. it's often customary to have the doors page up here. Oh, there it is, doors page up, so you can see what doors are still open as you're waiting for the last people to board. Make sure the cargo is all loaded. Forward PAX door. We're going to go ahead and close that up and say that we're ready to go here momentarily as soon as you see 6 green. Alright, we're good to go. The ground crew will just do its one last walk around and then we'll be on our way here. That much talking, always need a little drink of water. Okay, don't want the flight crew to get dehydrated. Alright, so we're closed up, weight and balance is all good, we are cleared to start. Alright, start approved check. Alright, so start approved check, no steering is off, escape hatch is I'm sorry, I'm skipping around here. No steering is off, transponder, we're going to go ahead and put it on out now before the VATSIMers complain. Doors and fueling lights, lower right here, those two are off. APU bleed is off, we never had the APU on. Lock isolate is not in here, and the anti-collision is going to red. The start proof check is complete. Hold your fingers up, clear on 2. Buddy says clear on 2. Starting engine 2.
That's a Gibraltar and DB.
Alright, we got rotation going on.
Okay, do you have a code for that by chance?
Add fuel to the fire.
Sorry, can you say that again?
And up comes the...
Do you have the code for that by chance? Code is Q400.
engines, and at 50% NH, the start-stop selector. The start selector goes back to the center. And the start select light is going to go out here. Alright, and we're going to disconnect the external power. We're going to signal to Buddy here. We can disconnect external power. That'll be gone in a second. We're going to put the electrical page up to make sure that we see what's happening here. The generator's online because it's not got the caution light, and it is definitely low, got some load on it. External power's gone. Alright. Time for a pushback. We're going to initially start straight. Okay, parking brake is off, ready for the push. And I'm just going to switch to the external view as I start the pushback here. Anytime now, guys. There we go. Alright. And we can't just do a straight push here. Oops. Let's just go back inside for a second here, and we're just going to pull up. I can't remember what the hotkey is for this, so we're going to go nose left, please. There we go. And clear on 1. He says clear on 1. We're going to start engine 1 while we're on the push here. Now, normally, the biggest thing is to focus on the start itself, but just because I'm also managing my own pushback here, that's enough. Turn straight, 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 please. Thank you. It's a little bit of an awkward push. Okay, we're not going to hit the other plane at least. That's good. And we actually have to face a little bit the other way. So we're going to go back to the right. And how's that start working out for me? Yeah, the start worked out pretty well while I wasn't watching it. Trying to do everything here. Manage the push and the start and everything else at the same time. Doesn't work out particularly well for you, so... Alright, straight, and we're going to probably just end it right about there. That's probably good. We can get to where we need to go from there. That's not a bad push. That's about where you would end up. Pretty close. Push complete. Set the brake. I didn't hear him say it, but I guess he said it while VATSIM was talking. Alright. So they disconnect their tug, they walk away, and we can go ahead and bring it out of start feather. And get ready to go here. Alright. So we just have to wait till we get about 500, then the AC gen lights go out. And we can do the after start checklist, which starts with a flow. So we're going to take off the main bus tie, And we're going to get some ice protection going here. Alright, first flight of the day for this aircraft we're going to say, so we're going to do the rudder check. That's the number 1 red hide. And we just do a quick rudder check. If you look at the bottom of the left-hand MFD, you'll see the rudder move as I move the rudder pedals. And there's the number 2 red hide. And again, and then we do it with both red hides active. And there goes. Alright, not the best thing in the world to have AI traffic sometimes, but anyways. We'll pretend that didn't happen. Where was I? Yes, sorry, the rudder check we did. We can get the nose steering on there, and actually we're going to keep the nose steering off for a second because the FO is going to do his flows that involve moving the ailerons, which moves my nose steering. So bleeds go on. Flap 15. And auto feather. There we go. And so we do a quick aileron check, and you see the spoilers move there. And supposed to do the elevator check. Getting distracted here. Elevator check as well. I'll put these back so you can see the elevator check. Alright. And we just do that. Perfect. There we go. Elevator press light should go out in a second. There it is. Alright. And now we can turn the nose steering on. We can do the after start checklist. After start checklist. Start select light is out. External power APU is off. Bleed air 1 and 2 is min and on. Ice protection is standard plus the windshield to make sure we don't fog up. Caution and warning lights are checked, just a park and brake. Battery temps and loads are just do this. Everything is checked. Perfect. Put that to MFD. And so tank occupants 1 and 2 are on. Auto feather is AF select, and the engine rating normal takeoff power 90%. Standby hide press and PTU control are norm. Hide press and quantity, everything looks normal on the bottom of the MFD here. And height 3 and elevators were checked, the flight controls checked and free, the de-ice pressure checked. Flap is 15 set and indicating condition levers are max. Nose steering is on. Radar and AVCOM are set in the PFD, MFD, ED, no flags. Alright, we're all ready to go here. We're going to put up the DTO, so we're ready to go. And call for taxi. Toronto arrival, Porter 235 ready for taxi.
Porter 22 stand by. Morning Star 6529 winds 250 at 4, clear for takeoff runway 24. Check the clear takeoff runway 21, Morning Star 6529. Porter 235 runway 26, altimeter 2976, taxi via Charlie, correction, taxi via Delta, hold short runway 26.
Okay, taxi via Delta, hold short 26, Porter 235. Okay, park brake off. Give her a little bit of go. There we go. And as soon as we start moving, taxi light on. Alright, there we go. Clear of any nearby aircraft. We are going to go ahead and do the taxi check. So taxi check says taxi light on. It's on. The altimeters. I've got 2976, 1, 2, and then 3 set, and cross checked. And the takeoff warning. Do it quickly before we get to the end of the straight line here. Takeoff warning sounds good. And the cabin, we're going to say that the cabin called secure. And away we go. I'm going to put on that side window heat because this airplane's fogging up good today. I'm also just going to open the side vent here. in the hopes that that may... Trying to do too many things at once. Hi. Could use a good FS2 crew first officer sometimes to do a few things for me here. Like, tell me when I'm going to hit stuff. Not a bad view of downtown Toronto. The scenery is pretty good. That's pretty accurate. The wall of buildings you get as you approach downtown Toronto, it's pretty good. And the buildings are all pretty recognizable. I've lived in a couple of those buildings. And I can recognize the ones that I've lived in. So it's not. It's pretty good. I mean, for what it is.
No problem, I should have kept closer. 9,400 feet remain from Kilo, but that'd be sufficient for departure.
Alright, just trying to get this going here.
United 1 Kilo 1 airborne, report altitude passing, winds are 260 at 7 from Kilo, clear for takeoff runway 23. Clear for takeoff runway 23, United 1 Kilo heavy.
Porter 235, ready for departure 26. Break off.
Porter 235, launch airborne, report altitude passing, winds 260 at 8, clear for takeoff runway 26.
Clear for takeoff runway 26, we'll call you airborne, Porter 235. Alright, cleared to go. Let's get going here. Don't have to be totally crazy on the power, but let's get going and let's do the lineup check. So we're cleared onto the runway, so let's get the strobe going here first of all. Alright, and lineup check. FA notification, cabin crew please be seated for takeoff. And transponder on alt, it's there already.
Morning Star 6529, runway 26 is active in city center. Are you able to RNAV Zulu runway 26?
Doors and fueling. No, I'm looking at the wrong checklist again. I always look at the wrong checklist. Transponders on alt. TCAS is TA only. Should just focus on the lineup here, and then we'll come back around to...
6529, clear the... correction. Sorry. You're clear to NDB TV Bravo, approach runway 26, report turning base.
Whoa, going backwards here.
Roger, clear to NDB TV
Sometimes
Bravo, approach,
using push buttons on this.
Morning Star 6529, thank you.
Okay, focus on what we're doing here because it's going to be a lot easier if we focus on what we're doing here. Alright. Wow, that was a really horrible lineup. Trying to do too many things at once. Read the checklist and do this. Alright. TCAS, MFDs are both terrain. Bleed air 1 and 2 can stay on. Min on for this takeoff. And flight taxi is flight. The lineup check's complete. If I can actually line up on the runway. We're going to get some lights on as well. Alright. There we go. And the heading is pretty aligned there. Alright. Let's get going.
United 1 Kilo, set your squawk 2212.
Alright, there's 80 knots. V1, rotate. Alright, positive rate, gears going up. There's 800 feet. I have to do direct to MDOS.
United 1 Kilo identified.
Direct to MDOS. Enter. And we switch to nav mode. There we go.
United 1 Kilo heavy, also sweat squawk standby.
And we're also going to, there's 1260, so we're going to go autopilot on to help me out here. There's alt star already, and LNAV to MDOS. And we're going to go flaps 0. Bleeds on, and climb power is set.
Okay, 878 standby. Porter 235, report altitude.
Porter 235, level 2000. 210.
Porter 235, roger, left turn 2 sec on course, climb to level 230.
Alright, sorry, say the fix again for Porter 235?
Porter 235, that's 26. Tango Echo, Sierra Kilo.
Alright, direct TSUC on course, and I missed the altitude as well, Porter 235. Direct TSUC activate, and there we go. And we should be at 200 knots or less within the control zone here.
You got on set for Morningstar 6529. Morningstar 6529, maintain visual separation of that aircraft at all times and report when you're back on the NGB approach. Okay, roger that. United 1 Kilo, thank you very much. Right turn 2 like on course, climb flight level 230.
Alright, we're on our way. Speed's holding at about 200 knots. Need to get a climb going here before we can do anything else.
Turn right 2 like on course, the second waypoint you're on. Tango uniform, Lima Echo Kilo. Alright. Tango uniform, Kilo Echo uniform, Tango Kilo Heavy. Air Canada 878, thanks for the patience. Runway 248.
Alright, and we're on our way. Just kind of quiet right now because I'm trying to listen to ATC so I don't miss the climb instruction. I thought we got a climb, but if we did, I missed it and I asked for it again.
Alpha Lima, Bravo, Charlie, hold short of 248, Air Canada 8. So we're on the NDB approach runway.
And we can trim out that rudder because it always needs to be trimmed in this airplane.
Morningstar 6529, thank you. Traffic is no longer a factor. Roger that.
Alright. Lots of airplanes out there today. Ed Toronto Porter 235, did you give us a climb earlier or we missed it?
Yeah, Porter 235, you're cleared up to flight level 230.
Climb flight level 230, Porter 235. Alright. Thought I heard that, but I couldn't be sure. So there's 230, set alt cell. And we're just going to go into pitch hold. Climb at, well, let's bring it up to about 8 degrees and we'll bring the power right back up again to the detent here. There we go, into the detent, perfect. And away we go, we're climbing out on our way to Ottawa. See if we can have an on-time arrival. See what the FMS has to say about that. It's a little bit early to be checking this stuff. Really should be focusing on flying the airplane this far down low. What we should be doing, as anybody should know by now, is probably an after takeoff checklist. So we start with a flow, we turn off pumps we don't need anymore now that we're away from the ground, and we do an after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up, flaps are 0, climb power is set, MCL, bleed air 1 and 2, I can go to norm and on, and auto feather is now off, tank ox pumps are off, height pumps are norm, and the engine temps and pressures, everything looks good, green across the board. Ice protection is, let's see here, ice protection we got standard plus the windshields, and cabin press and temp controls are checked. It looks like we got a differential kicking in. It is holding. We're starting to climb the cabin. Perfect. And FA notification chime. So what we'll do is we'll bring the nose down because nobody wants to try and get out of their seats in an airplane that's pitched up to 10 degrees. We'll bring it to 6 degrees.
235, contact Toronto Center, 125.77. Have a good day, my friend.
Alright, over to Toronto Center, 2577. Good day. $25.77. There we go. Toronto Center, hello. Porter 235, 7700, climbing flight level 230.
Porter 235, Toronto Center, good evening. Looks like they cleared their cruise altitude, so welcome aboard, sir.
I checked that, cleared all the way up to 230, thank you, sir. Alright, cleared up to our cruise altitude, we're on board. Let's get that heading bug synced up now that we're en route here. And away we go. It's not a very long flight to Ottawa in this airplane. It really is a nice straight line, and it goes by pretty quickly. So we're going to basically get ourselves climbing up to altitude here, and we're going to have to start the briefing almost before we get there, and the descent preparation before we get there, because depending on the runway in use in Ottawa, it can happen very quickly in this airplane. Alright, here comes 10,000. 10,000. Lights off. Pressurization checks. 424. There it is. Yep. And seatbelts. It's a pretty nice day out there. Looks like it. A few clouds, but otherwise it looks like a nice day. So yeah, what the hell? Seatbelts can come off. And away we go. We're on our way to Ottawa here. Watch out for the speed bleeding off as we climb, so we'll make sure to pitch the nose down a little bit if we have to as we climb to keep the speed in the safe range. Don't like to climb the Dash 8 in the IAS mode. We do have an IAS mode here on the mode control panel, but it's just not flight guidance control panel in this airplane, I guess. But it's just, in most airplanes it ends up just always hunting a little bit. The slightest little fluctuation and it just starts pitching up and down trying to find the speed, and it's just generally uncomfortable. That's why it's a safe mode to use, but just a very uncomfortable mode in general. That's why you see a lot of people don't want to use it, because it's generally not very comfortable for the crews, for the passengers, for anybody actually on board the airplane, if the airplane's always pitching up and down 1 to 2 degrees constantly. Alright, so we're on our way. Let's have a quick little performance evaluation here. It says we're going to arrive, land in Ottawa based on a straight-in approach right now at 4:19. I don't even know what they're using. Let's check that weather in Ottawa. And looks like the weather in Ottawa is 070 at 2 knots, so favoring the straight-in approach. Should be easy to be on time with the straight-in approach there in Ottawa. .3. And why is my... There we go. Little hesitation in my P3d there. Don't see that very often. Alright, well, it's definitely winter out there. It may not be quite that snowy out there in real life, but it's definitely a winter in the prepared world out there in southern Ontario. Still enjoy the scenery going by, though. It's nice scenery. Take a few minutes to just admire the airplane here. I think that's the Oshawa Airport right down there as we're sailing past. Get a little late winter sun there. Oh, that's a beautiful shot right there. Beautiful. It is a pretty nice looking airplane, and this model is fantastic. Look at the shadows being cast on it. It looks really good. Alright, but we don't want to take our eyes off the store for too long here. Speed's decaying, so we're just going to pitch down a little bit to make sure we don't lose speed. We're just passing T-suck there. Pitch down a little bit to keep the speed so we don't get too slow here in the climb. 200 knots is a reasonable speed in the climb without wasting too much time. And let's do a quick little bit of VNAV planning here. So we're going to assume at this point that we're going straight into runway 07 in Ottawa. So let's redo our flight plan here for a straight in approach to runway 07. That'll complete the star. And capital via MyVOC again. And right now we're going to plan... I kind of want to try the RNAV 07 and see if we can get this VNAV to work nicely all the way to the ground. So we'll do the RNAV Zulu to runway 07. No transitions, just a straight in via VISOL. So Lanark VISOL at or above 3000, no link, and then at the approach. So we just have to simply delete the no link, and we've got a complete flight plan. See if that works for us today. We know how to fly an ILS. Sometimes I find the RNAVs can be a little bit tricky in this airplane. It's not. It's that the universal in this is not perfectly programmed. So what I expect to happen sometimes with the VNAVs and the way the VNAV page should look is not quite 100%. So that's why I find I need more practice with the VNAV. So we're going to carry on and practice that VNAV. All right, there's 18,000. So transition. Set standard. There's a standard button on this one, but I can never reach it. It's right underneath the glare shield in the top right corner, so have to lean right down to see it. Not a big deal to set it manually anyways. So 2992 set and cross-checked. Perfect. Everything's looking good there. One last thing we'll do really quickly here is we'll do a fuel check. So right now overhead Ottawa we're showing 2,500 pounds. We only need 2,200 to go to Montreal. We have less than our planned extra fuel, but that's because we're still in the climb. We're still only doing a ground speed of, let's see here, grounding less than 300 knots while still burning 2,800 pounds of fuel per hour. So still climb power with climb speed. Once we level off and cruise here in a couple minutes, you'll see that start to come back in. The reason I wanted to actually really set that up was to make sure that I do have the VNAV ready to go here. So let's make sure that that VNAV is in there. It looks like it's the second Lanark. For some reason there's two Lanarks, and the second one has the VNAV in there. There we go. 16 minutes till we start it down 80 miles. Not very long. Ottawa is pretty much a get up and cruise for 5 minutes or less and get down. So it looks like I have two Lanarks in this flight plan for some reason. So we're just going to delete the middle one here so it doesn't create any glitches, and keep the one that's got the altitude restriction built into it. I'm also going to delete that altitude restriction because it's not really applicable to Canuck at or below 230. We're only going to cruise at 230, so we will automatically hit it at 230 or less without any effort whatsoever. So I'm just going to let it level off here in a minute or so, and then we'll brief up the approach. That way we're not distracted, and yeah, we can do a quick cruise check, and then we can brief up the approach. Looking like a beautiful afternoon here, and we're looking pretty good for that on-time arrival, I would say. We left a couple minutes early. It's not hard to get done in 20 to 25 minutes, but you have to know what you're doing. If you're spending a lot of time hunting for switches and hunting for procedures, obviously it's not going to happen. So it's an interesting goal to try and meet, I think, today. And that is 220 climbing 230. Speed's still decaying a little tiny bit, but we're about to level, so I'm not too worried about it. We're going to be fine here in a minute. 51 knots behind us just to help us that much more. We want to keep that descent kind of relatively shallow because we're going to have the wind pushing us down anyways, making it hard. We're not terribly heavy, but we're heavy enough that this airplane can be hard to slow down when you're going downhill steeply. There is the Alt Star. And because it's such a quick cruise, I'm not really going to give it a whole lot of chance to accelerate here before I do the cruise check. Normally I would let it accelerate with the prop set 900 and then bring them back to 850 once we pretty much accelerated to cruise speed, which if nothing else is either wherever the speed settles or 10 knots below the red line, whatever is less. So once it switches to alt mode here in a second, happens, there it is, alt. So we're going to go ahead with the cruise check. Nope, no double peck failure this time. I've managed to master doing this, moving it to 850. There it is. Cruise check. Alright, so I've got altimeters. I've got 1, 2, and 3 set. And fuel efficiency program we're not going to worry about. Power is set, and it's set to MCR. We're in the detent right now. We'll watch the speed. If it gets too close to the red line, we will pull the power off a little bit. Definitely happens more in the colder weather as the air gets thicker. Fuel, again, we checked it. We'll check it one more time now that we're in cruise, just to show you the difference here. Alright, so while I'm busy doing the cruise check, I'm actually just going to cut the video really quickly right here. Cut it in half, and we'll resume with part 2 very soon, where we'll do the approach briefing and the descent and landing into Ottawa. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you are subscribed to the channel. Please like the video when you get a chance, and stay tuned for part 2. Should be coming up very soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.